Hey everybody, it's Jake with the DIA guys, and today this is going to be the continuation of the video where we replace the headlight on the Cadillac. We're going to work on cleaning up the headlight on the other side of the truck and see if we can't make it look better, okay? So I'm going to bring in, we've already got it taped off, and I'll talk about that real quick before we get started. I'm going to show you what product we're going to use, show you what's included, and then we'll get the process started. The product we're going to use is from Mother's. We picked this up yesterday from Advanced Auto, but I'm sure you can get it about anywhere. New lens, headlight renewal kit. Got some past experience using this, and somebody was recommended by another DIA guy that it works really well, especially because this has pads that go on a drill. So with a drill, you can get a lot of high-speed motion to really cut the old plastic material and polish up the material and get it ready. So, and over here, let's just look at the stuff that's included in the kit. So in the kit, you get the polishing compound, you get an applicator pad that's Velcro backed so that you can put these sanding discs on it as well that you get. And then here's the polishing bonnet that's also kind of Velcro back, so it'll go on this adapter that goes into your drill. So it's chucked with the hex to go into the drill. And you also get this instruction booklet on how to do it. The other tools you're going to need is some type of a drill. This is just an impact drill, you know, but any type of 3/8 drill will work perfectly for this project. You're going to need some tape, some good quality tape. And then we're also going to use a screwdriver, and I'll explain where the screwdriver comes in here in a second. The first step that we've done is we've gone ahead and taken our tape and taped off the area. So you do that because you want to make sure that if you were to go off of the headlight, you wouldn't damage your paint, but also it's going to sling a lot of stuff around here, so it'll help to make cleanup a little bit easier too. So maybe a little tip for you: when you put this tape on, take the tape, I probably should have shown it, but put the tape in there vertical, you know, where it's straight, slide it down in the hole, bend it over, put it on your surface, and then take your screwdriver, this is where the screwdriver comes in play, and put it down in there, and then kind of push it against your surfaces to make sure you get a good tight seal or a good tight mask around the edges, okay? So go around, push your tape down, make sure it's adhered to the surface well, and then we're ready to start polishing. All right, so one other thing I'll mention too, we didn't show earlier, here's when you turn these sanding discs over, there's the grit level for the sanding disc. So the higher the grit level, if you don't know, the higher the grit level indicates a more fine grit, okay? So whenever you're doing a project like this or any kind of painting project, you always want to start with a coarse grit and work your way to a fine grit and ultimately the polish over here. So start off with 800, then we're going to work to 15, this is 3000, and then the polish, okay? That's how that's going to work, all right? Now I'm going to come over here and show the headlight in a lot of detail and try to get some of the cracks. So you can kind of see some of the cracks, not really cracks, but maybe you call it crazing, surface hazing, maybe say, on the headlight, just to try to show how the polishing kit is going to take all that stuff out. Okay, now one other thing that you also need for the project that I forgot to mention earlier is a water bottle and with some detergent in it. So we put just a little bit of detergent in it, which helps kind of the lubricant, but it also helps the sandpaper from getting so gummy. Okay, so you need a spray bottle with some detergent. Okay. All right, so install the arbor on the drill. Here, this is a quick connect because it's an impact. Place your 800 grit on the pad, ready to go. All right, so we're going to come over here to the headlight. This is that soapy water solution that I was discussing just previously. So you want to wet the headlight with a soapy water solution and also wet the surface of your sanding disc. And there we go. So see what we're doing here, starting off, just apply gentle pressure to it and keep applying the water to it, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back and forth and back and forth and sand off that first layer of grit with with this 800 grit sandpaper. Okay, so we're gonna keep on doing this, and I'll bring you back. All right, so what are you checking for?
I'm just looking to see how deep these cracks in the lens are.
Okay.
See if we're
cutting them.
Yeah, we're taking some out, and some are really deep.
Yeah.
Just trying to decide whether the juice is worth the squeeze to keep cutting or leave some there.
Keep cutting or stop. Okay. All right.
Kind of focus on that area a little more, just see what happens. Yeah, I don't think it's worth going so deep on it.
Okay, so that's it?
That's it for 800.
Okay. All right, so we finished up with 800, and one of the things that we were stopping and looking at is some of these, this like I showed before, the cracking or the crazing on the surface, and it's, you know, it's considerably better, but some of this damage that you have on the surface, you know, it could be permanent. You know, that happens if you don't restore it frequently enough, and you know, maybe that's where we are here. So we kind of made a decision that instead of cutting with 800 to keep on going, we're going to move on to the 1500, not 15, 1500 grit paper. Okay. All right, so we're just kind of inspecting it. We're going to wet that surface like we did before and have at it.
There we go.
All right, so you can see we're working on the 1500 grit paper on this headlight, and it's kind of hazy. You'll get a hazy look, which is okay, right? Because we're using sandpaper, so we're scratching the surface. But as we work down in our grits, and then get to the polish, we're gonna ultimately polish it all out. So you can see that the yellowish color is gone away. You know, we're still trying to work down some of these cracks, but like we said before, these cracks, they might be permanent. We might have to just live with that. But just keeping on working it with the 1500 grit paper. Keep it wet, keep the pad moving, and you know, grind that old plastic off.
As I was sanding, I was trying to work the planes. You don't want to like stand on the edges. So I would work this flat plane, work that plane, and work that plane up to and just over the ridge, and not to try to stay off of the ridge. As far as, you know, you can, on this real high point, you can do damage because you can cut too much. So that's one thing to watch out for.
Yeah, that's another really important tip. You know, this is a Cadillac, but you know, this process will apply for any vehicle. So you want to follow your surfaces. Do the flat planes first. These edges, hit them really lightly, and keep moving. Don't stop. You don't want to cut it and burn into the surface too much. Okay, it's really important when you're sanding. Okay, so now we're stepping up to the 3000 grit paper. So we just rinsed off the headlight to see where we're at, see what we got. So we're going to apply the soap solution again, and we got the 3000 grit chucked up in the grill, and here we go. So, just like we talked about before, we're going back and forth, overlap, make sure you get everything, overlap your last pass, make sure you get everything on these flat surfaces. Okay, follow the contour of your particular lens. Watch out for your edges, see we made a transition to that top edge. We're getting that ridge, but we're not spending a lot of time there. As little time as we can, don't damage it. Move along the flat surface there. All right, so we just rinsed the headlight off to kind of see what we got, and changed the battery in our drill because it was dying. So one thing I also talk about too is the speed that you're using your drill. You want to make sure in general you're using a faster speed, especially when you get to the polishing step, because that faster speed is really going to make sure that you're cutting out all your micro cracks in the surface of the headlight.
Wow. This is a lot better.
All right, so now we're switching over to the buffing pad. So we just put the buffing pad on the drill. That's ready to go. We got this compound, this powerful plastic compound that comes with it. All right, so now we're going to apply the compound to the buffing ball. One thing I'll mention too is that we wet this ball just a little bit and wrung out the excess. It's just something we like to do when we're buffing out these headlights. Also,
yeah, stuff is separated.
Yeah, so pro tip here, make sure you shake it up. Shake before use. There you go, that looks thicker. All right, alrighty. So we're just gonna kind of dab it on the surface with the buffing ball. And
Yeah, evenly applies, it'll sling all off of them.
And get to work. Same kind of thing, we're going back and forth, overlapping the last pass. Back and forth, back and forth. Polishing that surface off. When you're polishing, it's okay to put pressure on these ridges, because especially if you've got the foam there, but you're not really cutting anymore. You're polishing. You're taking out the micro swirls and so forth in the paint. So that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to finish polishing the headlight. All right, so here's the finished product. You kind of see that the yellowing's gone in the headlight. And it looks a lot better. So some of these cracks that were here at the top, cracks, but the crazing and the kind of surface scratches that were deep didn't quite come out. And there's actually some here that we couldn't see at first that are now visible after we've polished it. So probably to get this headlight perfect and really get all these scratches out, you'd have to do a second application. But that's what we're going to do for this one. We're going to call it. I think that's good enough. All right, so overall the kit was pretty easy to use, especially when it goes on a drill. Makes it a lot easier to use as well. Got pretty good results, and that's it for this project. So we got two different Escalades here. I don't know if we got a real good shot of the headlight before, but this is basically the same issue on this headlight and what this headlight looked like before we started. You can see that again. And here it is after doing the polish. All right, so here's another view of the front end after we've cleaned it all up. I'll show you, this is the headlight that we restored this morning. And then as a comparison, here's the headlight that we replaced in the previous video. So overall, I think it went really well. All right, so thanks for joining me on this video. During this video, we went through the process of restoring the headlight on this Cadillac. As you can see, and I tried to show, it did a good job with 800, 1500, 3000 in the polish, but in reality, we probably need to go a little bit coarser on the grit if we want to get rid of all the cracks and the marks in the headlights. So we may shoot another video when we do that, where we get some coarser sandpaper and go through the process of, say, probably 400 or 600, maybe 400, 600, 800, 1500, 3000 in the polish. But overall, I think it turned out really good for a first cut. So if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and then subscribe as well if it was helpful to you. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.